Coming into my teens, I was a little awkward, you know, my voice was always different. It wasn't like this pretty kind of high-pitched like thing that the other girls have, and I was made fun of for that.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Symone Titania Major, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Indie Seat.
So yeah,
Today we have Mandy Marylane. Mandy, welcome to the Indie Seat. How are you today?
Pretty good. I'm pretty good. Hanging in there, you know, these crazy times.
When did you fall in love with music?
Oh, that goes way back. Like all the way to 4 years old, maybe even earlier. It all came from like, you know, the cartoons I watched and Disney movies, The Land Before Time,
nice.
You know, and like all of it, even if it's just kind of like, you know, not all like sing-along, some of it's just like kind of like the scoring and stuff.
Right.
I always just fell in love with all of that. So it's, I guess, yeah, the media, like what I was watching on these cartoons, these like kids shows, where it was inspiring me to want to do what they were doing and make music. Even like Barney, you know.
Oh yeah.
I grew up on Barney too when I was younger.
Very musical. And so how
Exactly.
did you learn to play music? Are you self-taught? I believe you're self-taught, is that right?
Yeah, so my guitar playing, I started teaching myself at age 13, and I'll tell you why. Besides the fact that I wanted to accompany myself and be like totally independent in the sense where I didn't want to have to need anyone to like accompany me. So I was like, I'm gonna learn guitar. And the boys in school at the time were like, yeah, I play guitar and I play Smoke on the Water, and I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna be like better. So I got a guitar, and you know, and I became the best that I could be today. Right. And it took a while for me to say, okay, I'm gonna get like classical lessons. I'm gonna sit down and like, you know, hold my tongue. Like, I'm not the best thing in the world. I need to like be humble and let somebody teach me something. Because I was very stubborn. I was like, no, I don't need any of that, like music theory, none of that stuff, you know.
Right.
But it's been the best thing that I could have done for my playing, absolutely.
Really?
And I'm never gonna go back.
Do you find that has changed your writing style?
Yes, definitely.
Do you still feel like you have that same like aesthetics that you started with, but you're just a little more polished, or do you find that it has changed you completely?
No, I think that it's the same aesthetic, but basically it's opening the doors to all the things that I couldn't reach before, because I'm learning about different structures and different like ways that I can musically, I guess, in the background tell this story and use the intricacies of my guitar to like kind of they call it word painting in like other types of music as well. Like you could, or what was the, like art songs, for example. Art songs used to tell stories by putting that story into the music.
Right.
So, and I'm still learning that process. I'm not like, you know, I wouldn't consider myself that good yet, but I'm mostly, I'm taking the stuff I know and trying to mix it in with my songs, and then, you know, eventually I'm going to get to a point where I could just create my own compositions.
Amazing.
With singing, I always just did it. You know, I always like, and I knew that since I was a little girl, I knew that I had a voice, and no one told me that. I just knew it, and I was like, this is like what I'm gonna do, and like no one's gonna tell me otherwise. Yeah. I remember it was in choir. It started in choir. From there, I was singing like with the other kids and singing just the songs together, like in choral setting.
Yeah.
And I got my first solo, which was like a sacred song, you know, from church. And after that, I just kept going. Yeah. This was like before guitar. I just sang, and that's it.
Right.
And at that time, I was just a little girl, and even coming into my teens, I was a little awkward. You know, my voice was always different. It wasn't like this pretty kind of high-pitched like thing that the other girls have, and I was made fun of for that.
But at what point did you say, I love my voice and this is exactly what I want to do, this is my calling? At what point, what age, or what time frame in your life did you say, this is what I want to do and I'm just going to continue with it and it's going to be my career?
Well, even at that age, with even all that going on, I remember telling my friend that music was my life, and she was like, no, it's not, you're too young to know. I'm like, no, it's my life. And then, but really when I turned 18 and I remember I met, they were at the time called Philosophical Ignorance.
Okay.
And now and then there were Satori Kings.
Oh,
and
Satori
now
Kings,
they're
yeah.
like Soft Cricket, but they're all like kind of doing their own thing.
Okay.
So when I met them, I was 18, and that was like the first time that I had discovered like my rock and roll voice, like the powerhouse that I know today. And I it was like all these things that I didn't know I had until I met them, and I heard their music and it brought so much out from me, and I'm always going to be grateful for that. So I guess there was really like when I saw the true power of my voice, and that it was kind of like all these women who are different, like Stevie Nicks and Janis Joplin and Grace Slick, these women who just don't have the typical kind of voice.
Yes, because your music is so special. How do you find that balance of choosing where to perform and, identifying what your audience is or who your audience is? How do you, one, identify that, and then two, how do you balance continuing to be true to your art but also appealing to a larger audience?
Well, that's a really hard question because I'm still trying to figure out what my audience is. Yeah, I'm not really sure. According to Instagram, it's like mostly men.
Oh.
So, according to like the algorithms, it's mostly men from 21 to like 35.
Really?
But like from what I've seen at my shows, it's like people my age within the music scene, and then also some older people as well, and I guess when it comes to appealing to what other people like, I mean, I know like not to, my songs are not exactly like, over the rainbow, always happy. They're pretty dark a lot of the times, but I think I try to bring in some, a little bit of rhythm or maybe like something interesting that might get the audience to be more interested and not fall asleep. I think my voice over everything commands the audience.
Absolutely.
So that, I think, is a gift I have because I don't really make the happiest music in the world, so I need that voice to kind of be like, listen.
When you're writing your music, right? Because when you're on stage, you're such a storyteller. Like, you really bring us in. You tell us from the beginning to the end of the story. But when you're writing that music and you're thinking about how you're going to look on stage and what the sound is like, what is that process for you? Can you kind of take us into maybe, your studio space? Are you in the studio? Are you in your room? Are you in the bathroom? Your room?
My room, or like sometimes I might be outside or something, or even like I could be anywhere, and if I think of something, I'm going to write it down. But usually the process is like this. I get an idea, and that idea can either, it can make it through or it cannot. It could just never go anywhere. And if it makes it through, I'll go through a process that could sometimes take maybe days, maybe it could take months for it to even come into fruition. But the ones that the songs that really are the ones that stick are the ones that come to me in a flash, just a few hours, and I can't really remember always the process. I just remember just like it's a continuous flow of writing and writing until it's done. And when I'm finished, I almost feel like, who wrote this?
Ooh.
It's kind of very interesting. An interesting place to be when I'm looking at some of my songs and wondering, like, not all of them. I don't know where I found that I guess inspiration from.
That story, yeah. When you're complete with the song and writing the song, how do you decide? Do you also do an audition process on, okay, this is going to be on an album, or maybe I'll try this at an open mic? Or
Exactly.
Like, is that also an audition?
Yeah, I try it out live.
Okay.
And I kind of try it on like a crowd that I know is going to be like less people, or like a smaller thing, and I see how they react to it, and if they don't really react to it, I think maybe that's more for an album, something like one of the slower songs, and if they react to it, then I know that it's a winner.
I want to know if you've ever imagined like yourself being a headliner for a festival.
Yeah, several times.
Several times. And who would open up for you? Who would be like your ideal opener?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a hard one. I have to think about that. They would be acoustic.
Acoustic. Okay.
There would definitely be like, probably a little softer. This is really hard.
Okay.
I don't know.
I
really don't. But I will say.
But it's acoustic and.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that.
Is
Not
it
really.
a group? Okay, we'll talk about
No, it'd be a single, like
Single.
a solo artist, yeah.
Got it.
And then I would want to have a band, like for me
For yourself.
yeah. To, if I ever played something that big, I would want to have like people behind me playing. So I guess like okay, but like this, yeah, like I said, if there this person, you know, that I love, she's like a modern artist. She is like a megastar. So I don't think she'd ever open up for me, you know.
Okay.
And that would be Billie Eilish.
Billie
You know,
Eilish. Do you hear
she's
that?
like
We're coming for you.
she's like you know, and it's I think it's been a long time since I've heard, you know, like a
Yeah.
big artist that has really just broken that seal
Absolutely.
of like materialism, broken that seal of like there's something, this like wall in the music industry that in the pop music industry that like I feel like feeling just doesn't go through.
Right.
And with her, it's like,
It's there.
who are you?
Yeah, and
You know?
talking about breaking those walls
Yeah.
and breaking those barriers within the industry, do you find that it is the responsibility of artists to talk about, you know, things that are happening within the current times,
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, the pandemic, or any other injustices? Do you think it's a responsibility for artists and musicians to bring
I think
that up?
I think it's a responsibility for everybody. You know, everybody should know what's going on, and it's a responsibility for everybody to do their part. That's what I think. Hi everybody, I'm Mandy Marylane. You can find me on Instagram as Mandy Marylane, TikTok Mandy Marylane, Facebook. You know, I'm pretty much not really on anything else. YouTube Mandy Marylane, Spotify, iTunes, the works.
My name is Symone Titania Major, and you have been watching the NDC. Shout outs to Context of a Generation for producing the NDC. Be blessed. Check me out on SymoneTitania.com, and I'll see you next time. The NDC. So that was the NDC. If you like what you saw and you want to be a partner, or if you want to collaborate with us, even if you're an artist and you want to submit your work, check out our website, contextofageneration.org, or go ahead and submit an email to us at submit@contextofageneration.org. And for all the artists, make sure you put your name, your social media handles, and attach some of your work as well. And for those who are interested in being a partner or collaborating, please email us and we would love to reach back out. Peace. That was the NDC. Thank you.